Hi, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you late night from the NBC studios, it's your host, the wonderful, the illustrious Michele Lim. Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys at the back, you guys are awesome. Thank you, sir. I love your sign. High five, little man. Love your work. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Take a seat, please. Please take a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. It is your friendly neighborhood comedian, Michele Lim. I'm very excited to be here today. I'm doing my last YouTube video for the year. And I wanted to wish you guys a very, very happy holidays and a very happy and safe 2020. I've got my Christmas sweater on for you guys. Fa la la llama. It has a llama on it. Modern technology. What would we do without you? So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I want to give a shout out to my new subscribers, Roselle, Mabel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Saeed, Joan X, Michael, Pierre, Ryan, Nathan, Elise, and Maggie. Thank you for joining me this year, and I hope to see a lot more of your questions and suggestions next year. Shout out to the female subscribers. Yay! Go team! Okay. Today I want to be talking. Today I want to be talking about. I want to be talking about how to write analogies for late night talk shows. So that's kind of specific, but it doesn't have to be a late night talk show. Comedians use them all the time, but you just see a lot of them on these late night talk shows. And this topic was actually brought to me by Chahed, who is one of my long-time subscriber, first-time writer. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And as always, I really, really welcome any ideas or questions that you guys have around comedy because I want to make sure that I'm making things that are useful for you guys. So hit me up and ask me your questions. Before I get started, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I applied for Sketchfest earlier this year and I wanted to perform next year. Unfortunately, I didn't get chosen, but I'm still excited because I've decided to do my own thing. So I guess you'll find in comedy, as in life, there's lots of disappointments and I think comedians, we apply for a lot of things, we try out for a lot of things, and we very rarely get picked. That's just kind of how it is, but that's fine. You guys just got to make sure that you can find a way to keep going and doing your own thing. And so I've decided to do my own show, or my own kind of festival. It's going to be called Slightly Sketchy Fest. I don't know, it just has a certain ring to it. March 2020, guys. Look out for it. And I think it's important for you to put a stake in the ground or set some goals. For me, definitely, because I know that if I don't have these timelines, if I don't announce to people that I'm going to do things, then I just don't get motivated and I just don't do anything. So I would recommend you guys, if you've been writing for a while and you're kind of stuck and you're feeling like you need a little bit of extra motivation, check out and see if there are any local comedy festivals. Fringe festivals are always really good. Other things that you could be working towards to build out your sets and get longer sets. I feel like I had a video, and someone was like, "I can't understand your accent. Are you saying sex or sets?" I'm saying sets with a T. Okay. Yeah. So do something with your friends or make your own thing. Just keep pushing yourself to keep creating. I think that's the most important thing. So today I wanted to talk about these analogies. So to start off with, what's an analogy? So an analogy is where you describe something and you compare it to something else. So one of my bosses really likes this analogy of a souffle. And I work in marketing or I work in product marketing, and he always says, I don't want to have a product which is half baked. Like I don't want to have to sell a product which is not ready yet. So it's like pulling the cake out of the oven before it's ready. No one's going to eat it and it's not going to taste very good. So that's kind of an analogy. I wanted to do another analogy, which is like writing jokes for a talk show is kind of like getting the public bus. It might take a while, but eventually everybody gets on board. So something like that. Oh, before I forget, I thought of a Christmas cracker joke that I wanted to share with you guys. It is, what do you call an observant dinosaur? He already saw us. Hey! You can tell that one at your family dinner. Okay, so basically these talk show hosts or comedians, they use these analogies because it's a really effective way of highlighting something silly or something that's kind of wrong or making a statement about some sort of, serious scenario. It's highlighting it, and then it's kind of making light of it so that it's not so serious, but it still calls attention to whatever the thing is that they're trying to highlight. So I've drawn this great Venn diagram for you guys, where basically when you're creating these analogies, you want to have the event, and then you want to have like an analogy or an example of something else that shares a similar trait. And this similar trait is what's going to make the joke funny. So, a couple of pointers with this. You want to make sure that the analogy that you're providing is funny or ridiculous or silly. You don't want to have something which is too similar to what you're trying to be commenting on. So Jahed, he pointed me to this article, which is, I can't remember, it's like Laughter Medium or something. What's it called? Oh, thelaughtereffect.com. So that's actually a really good resource, which I just discovered, thelaughtereffect.com. And it kind of it talks about how comedy is used to highlight real world issues in a positive way. So check it out. It was really interesting for me to read. So in one of the articles that I was reading, it talks about John Oliver, who is this late night talk show host, and he has a bit on the gender wage gap, and he talks about how a lot of news publications are always arguing about what the correct percentage of the difference is. Like some people say there's like a 90% gender wage disparity, or some people say there's like a 77% gender wage disparity. And John Oliver's point is that it's not the size of the disparity that matters, it's the fact that there's a disparity at all. So then he has this analogy about taking a dump on someone's desk. And basically he says, like, if someone took a dump on my desk, I wouldn't be like, oh, is it like a small dump or is it a big dump? It doesn't matter. A dump is a dump. The point is, like, it's still there. So that's like, that's what they're trying to say. So I really like this analogy because it draws it draws attention to the fact that, yeah, it doesn't matter like what the percentage is. The fact is that there's still a wage disparity or gender wage disparity, and we should be doing something about it. So going back to this diagram, as I said, you want to make the analogy really silly. So he could have said a lot of different things, but for some reason, us as humans, we really like poo jokes when they're used appropriately. So he talks about taking a dump on someone's desk because it's silly. And if you thought about wage income disparity or gender income disparity, your mind wouldn't go to, defecating someone's desk. And that's why it's funny, right? So you want to have two extremes or two scenarios, hopefully far apart, and then you want to join it with something hilarious or like, your highlighted point which fits it together. So in coming with that, so you want it to be silly. You want it to be explained by one joining phrase or idea. So in my bus example where I said like, analogies are like a bus, it takes a while, but eventually everybody gets on board. You don't want to say analogies are like a bus stop. People wait at the bus stop and then the bus comes and then everybody gets on board because it's too kind of far removed, right? So you want to make sure that it's like, it's close enough that you can explain it really quickly without having to go into like a long explanation of your point. And then I think that was basically it. And then the other point that the article makes is that analogies are really good for reframing. So in John Oliver's example, he's not even talking about what the percentage difference is for the gender income disparity. He reframes the whole topic completely and talks about the fact that there is an income disparity between genders is the problem, right? Not the size of it, it's the fact that it exists at all. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps you write some analogies out. I actually had one that I'm kind of working on around almond milk, very important topic. But basically, I'm trying to say, let me think about how it goes. It's kind of like, almond milk. Everybody or like vegans or vegetarian people are talking about how they really like eating, natural, unprocessed foods. Meanwhile, they're going around trying to milk all the almonds, almonds were just having fun time, chilling, lying on cakes or like lying on cheese platters, and now they got to do this whole other job, which is being milked to produce milk. Like imagine if you went into work one day and your boss was like, "Well, hey, I know that you're in finance, but we really want you to do this whole marketing campaign. So can you do it?" You'd be like, "No, that's not my job. That's how almonds feel." Anyway, just something I'm working on. I hope that you guys have a very Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever you're celebrating. I hope that you have a happy and safe time, enjoying it with your friends and family. Thank you so much for subscribing and joining me this year. And here's to 2020 and more jokes and more fun times. Thank you so much. Bye.